Hey guys, it's Eric from Canine Solutions here, and today we're going to go over how to fit and have your dog wear our prong collar. Okay, this is your standard prong collar. It's a 2.25 size. We also have 3.0 for a much larger dog, and then for your tiny little guys, we've got the little micro prong. Okay. But for this purpose, most dogs we fit with the 2.25, which is this collar right here. So what we're going to do is, the first thing is we're going to fit it to the dog. So we're going to put it right where we want it to be on the dog's neck, which is very high up on the neck, right here behind the ears. So I'm going to put the collar on, and then what I'm going to do is bring one end all the way around until it meets the collar, just like that. Okay, now where it meets the collar is where I'm going to remove links from. So for this application, I'm going to remove, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 links. And we want to make sure that we do it evenly on both sides of the collar. So I'm going to take 2 off on one side, and then 2 off on the other, 3 off on the other side. Okay, so that's how it'll look when it's all taken apart. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up from underneath like this and put it on the dog. And I want to put it on the dog right where I want it to stay, which is right here behind the ears. All right. And then I turn it so that the swivel, where the leash goes, is on top. Okay. Now, whenever we use a prong collar, we always want to back it up, and these are our prong backups. You'll notice that it has a short end and a long end, and then a ring. So the short end always goes to the prong collar. Put the short end on the swivel like that, and then the long end goes to their flat collar. So this backs up the prong collar. In case the prong collar ever comes apart, over time they can wear out, or maybe you don't put it on right. So if it comes apart and you lose it, you still have your flat collar. So it's a safety backup. So let's go ahead and put this back on the dog. There we go. Turn it back around so it's on the front. Now, you're probably wondering what the ring is for. Well, the ring is where you put your leash. So that way, when you apply pressure to the collar with the leash, the short end activates first on the prong collar. If we get them switched and you put the long end on the prong collar, it's not going to work, because as you can see, when there's pressure on and there's tension, this end is loose. Okay? And you can see where it attaches to the flat collar. All right? So that's how we fit and apply the prong collar to the dog. Now, a few things. You want to make sure it stays high up on the dog's neck. It should be snug, not tight, but snug. And we want to make sure that it doesn't slide down. If you have a dog that has a very slender neck, what I usually do is I'll tighten up their flat collar and move it up, so that way it prevents the prong collar from sliding down. If the prong collar slides down onto the dog's neck at a lower point, now you're moving the dog from here, which is where all their mass and strength is, rather than from here where you can steer their head. Okay? And where their head goes, their body follows. So what we want to do is make sure the collar stays up nice and high so that we can guide the dog where we want it to go with just a little bit of leash pressure. The other thing is that this is the most sensitive part of the neck right here. So if I keep it there, I don't have to use much pressure at all. With most dogs that we're working with, I'm using my fingertips as pressure. We're going to show you this on another video where we're actually working the dog on the prong collar. But again, keep the collar up nice and high on the dog's neck. Back it up with the flat collar and your prong backup that we'll give you. Okay, make sure that the short end goes to the prong collar swivel and that the long end goes to the flat collar. Now, a couple of little things that I do want to show you on this collar is when you put it on the dog, you want to make sure that this chain is moving freely. okay? If it gets bound up and you put it on and it's all twisted, it's not gonna work right. It's gonna get stuck. So we wanna make sure the chain is moving freely like that, all right? This little ring here is different from this swivel. The swivel is where you put the leash. This is called a dead ring. It just keeps the collar from coming together and becoming a choker, which we don't want to do. When the collar is fitted properly, there should be a few, well, not a few, but about an inch of space between the two ends of the collar and the ring. So right here, there should be some space, just like that, okay, at its tightest point. So when you put pressure on the leash, you want to make sure that there's a little bit of space in between the two ends of the collar and that ring that's in the middle. Just like that. Okay? And we never put a leash on the dead ring. We only put a leash on the swivel. Okay? One more thing, sometimes when this is taken apart, these end links will get flipped around and you'll wonder how this is supposed to go on because you can't put it on this side. So what I usually do is tell clients, well, just push it back so the links are facing in. All of the prongs need to face in, and then you can put it on the dog pretty easily, just like that. All right? Simple. And that's all there is to fitting and applying a prong collar to your dog. Thank you.